Before your first breath, this moment was etched into eternity. Before the battles. Before the heartbreak. Before the financial pressure, the tears behind closed doors, the silent prayers no one else heard, heaven saw this day. And now, the sky is no longer silent. Heaven has spoken. My beloved son. My beloved daughter. This moment was marked in the sky. And now it has come. It happened on a seemingly ordinary morning. Anna sat at her table, hands wrapped around a chipped coffee mug. The same unpaid bills stacked neatly beside her. The same heaviness sat on her chest. Until someone, interrupted the stillness. A voice, not loud, but alive. A whisper inside her spirit, this is the moment. Everything is about to change. She froze. Was she imagining it? But the air around her felt different, thick with presence, pregnant with promise. In the unseen realm, scrolls began to unroll. Angels moved with purpose. Heaven's courtroom stirred. Your name was spoken. Not in passing. Not among millions. Spoken with honor. Intention. Power. A release order had been signed in glory, sealed with the blood of the Lamb, and now ready to manifest in time. The one who wept in silence, it is their hour, a seraph declared. Initiate the recovery, another angel said. The God who controls galaxies had just declared, now is the time. God began to speak. I saw you at 2:13 a.m. when no one knew you were awake. I heard your breathless prayers when words failed you. I watched when you gave out of lack. I caught every tear. I counted every seed. Anna remembered the nights she knelt by her mattress, whispering, God, I'm doing everything I know to do, and still I feel forgotten. But now, the silence was breaking. Heaven had not ignored her sacrifice. It had been collecting it. And now, it was time for the release. The Spirit whispered, even if your eyes see no change, your spirit knows what is shifting. And something was shifting. Suddenly, old debts were being discussed in bank systems. Business leaders were being stirred in dreams to remember her. Archived emails were being reopened. Applications long ignored were rising to the top. People she had never met were feeling the nudge to bless her. God wasn't just opening a door. He was building a corridor. I'm moving systems, the Spirit said. Structures. Documents. Authorities. You won't have to force this door open. I'm swinging it wide myself. There was one prayer. One she prayed only once. Quietly. Broken. Almost ashamed. Lord, I don't need riches. I just don't want to live in fear anymore. That prayer hit heaven like thunder. Because her words weren't coded in religious performance. They were real. And heaven responds to honesty. I didn't create you to survive, God whispered. I created you to steward. To overflow. To reflect my abundance. A golden scroll floated before the throne. Etched upon it, her name. Beside it, a list. Of every act of obedience. Every seed sown in private. Every yes when it cost her. God pointed to the scroll. This one, prepare her portion. And the angels moved quickly. Financial flows were being activated. Delayed blessings were being rescheduled for immediate release. Held up inheritances, forgotten entitlements, overlooked compensation, all realigned. Because when God issues a release, no system can hold it back. Anna whispered into her quiet kitchen, but Lord, why me? Why now? And the voice came, because I didn't forget you. Because this was never about your effort, it was about your surrender. And your obedience has reached my throne. He reminded her, prosperity without purpose becomes a prison. But you will be different. You will be trusted with the blessing, because you've been faithful in the famine. This isn't just Anna's story. It's yours too. The Holy Spirit is speaking to you. Your name is on the scroll. The movement has begun. The silence has broken. The skies have spoken. You're not waiting for a miracle, you're standing in it. My child. I didn't allow the trials to bury you. I used them to position you. And now, I am lifting you up with purpose and provision. Don't look for the same signs. This is a new dimension. The angels are already at work. The accounts are already opening. The overflow is already approaching. And this time, it won't just bless you. It will bless through you. You are marked. You are chosen. And you will never walk empty again. It didn't happen with thunder. It didn't begin with lightning. It began with a crack. A small, almost invisible opening in the wall that had stood in front of Anna for years. Financial delays. Emotional strain. Stagnation. But something broke. Not in a dramatic explosion, but with the weight of heaven pushing gently, yet undeniably. At exactly 8:07 a.m., her phone vibrated. A message. One she didn't expect. One that had been lost in the system for over a year. Payment approved. Processing now. Her hands trembled. It wasn't just a bank notification. It was the first physical evidence that the invisible had begun to manifest. Anna didn't scream. She didn't run in excitement. Instead, she sat still, tears streaming, because deep in her soul, she knew, this wasn't random. This wasn't luck. This was God being exactly on time. Faith isn't loud, the Spirit whispered. It's the quiet agreement between your spirit and mine. And she remembered how many times she had chosen faith over frustration, when she tithed in lack. When she smiled through pressure. When she helped others even when she had needs of her own. Heaven hadn't forgotten. It had just been waiting for the release command. What Anna couldn't see was what had been stirred in the realm of the Spirit. That morning, 3 unrelated people had woken up with her name heavy on their heart. One was a former employer. Another, a friend she hadn't spoken to in years. And the third? A man she'd never met. God was orchestrating a divine web of connections. Hearts were being moved. Systems were being re-evaluated. Old records were being dusted off. Hidden opportunities were being spotlighted by angels. You prayed for breakthrough, the Lord whispered, but I'm giving you divine exposure. At 2:36 p.m., she received an email from a company she never applied to. We came across your work. We believe your voice and skills are exactly what we need. Are you open to a conversation? She read it twice. 3 times. It was real. It wasn't just an offer, it was a divine invitation. The door hadn't just opened. It had found her. Because when heaven says your name, doors don't wait for you to knock, they swing open at your arrival. As she prayed that night, her voice barely a whisper, the Spirit came strong, I am not just fixing broken pieces of your life. I am building something entirely new. You were not just meant to escape poverty. You were meant to establish abundance. You are not just surviving a wilderness. You are about to possess promised land. This wasn't just about a bank account. This was about legacy. Generations. Impact. What God was doing now would echo far beyond her. The greatest change wasn't financial. It was internal. That night, Anna walked through her apartment and felt something she hadn't felt in years, peace. She no longer feared the end of the month. She no longer panicked at the sound of her phone. She no longer woke with a sense of dread. Because now, she knew who was fighting for her. The God of heaven had not only spoken, he had delivered. You're reading this, wondering, when will it be my turn? The answer is not someday. The answer is, your name has already been spoken. The delay was not denial. The silence was not abandonment. The waiting was not wasted. God is moving people, resources, signatures, and systems for your cause, even if you haven't seen the proof yet. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared, my child. I don't just answer. I exceed. I don't just repair. I resurrect. I don't just provide. I anoint. Everything that was withheld is now being released. Everything that was lost is now returning multiplied. Everything that made you feel small, I am redeeming with glory. This is just the beginning. This is the first wave of what I've promised. Stay aligned. Stay surrendered. And stay listening. Because when the skies speak your name, nothing on earth can remain the same. It was as if the floodgates had snapped. Not a trickle. Not a drizzle. A sudden, unexplainable torrent. Anna stood in her living room, blinking at the email she had just read. Another payment. Another release. Another opportunity. It was coming too fast to process. Just last month, she could barely pay rent. Now the doors that once mocked her were opening so wide, she no longer had to knock, they swung with welcome. And the Spirit said clearly, this is the divine flood. Everything that was held back, now comes rushing in. Each blessing wasn't random. Each provision wasn't dropped recklessly. They were aligned. Coordinated. Intentional. A deposit hit her account the same hour she was prompted to sow into another struggling family. An offer came from a place that, unbeknownst to her, was desperate for what she carried. Everything was precise. Nothing wasted. I don't just release, the Spirit said. I release with purpose. This wasn't about more money, it was about holy momentum. And Anna finally understood, this wasn't just blessing. This was strategy from heaven. She hadn't checked her mailbox in days. Why would she? It usually held bills or advertisements. But today, something waited. An envelope. Handwritten. No return address. Inside, a check. More than she'd dared pray for. No note, no name. Just one line scrawled in neat penmanship, God told me to send this. Use it to do what he told you. She sank to her knees, trembling. The Spirit whispered, you thought I only use systems. But I also use strangers. I also use obedience. Anna used to walk through stores calculating every cent, second-guessing every purchase. Now she walked with clarity. Not recklessly, not arrogantly, but purposefully. You have been entrusted, the Spirit said. Because you didn't worship the blessing, you worshipped me. This wasn't just about comfort. It was about assignment. God wasn't giving her more so she could sit still, he was equipping her to build. To start. To give. To go. In a forgotten journal, she found it. A vision God gave her years ago. A nonprofit. A ministry. A movement. She had written it in faith, then buried it in discouragement. But now, with the resources in her hands, the dreams began to pulse again. What she once shelved as, maybe someday, God now called, now. She wept. I didn't forget, God whispered. I delayed it so you would carry it with character, not just excitement. Now she was ready. She expected just enough. But what she received was more than enough. More contracts. More provision. More influence. More peace. This wasn't a basic answer. It was a supernatural multiplication. Because when heaven multiplies, it doesn't add, it accelerates. It doesn't restore to where you were, it launches you into where you were always meant to be. Suddenly, people began calling. Some didn't even know her personally. Your name keeps coming up. I had a dream about you. I felt led to bless your work. God wasn't just blessing Anna. He was putting weight on her name. Favor on her voice. Oil on her assignment. I told you, he said. You weren't forgotten. You were being prepared. If you're still in the waiting. If you see others breaking through while you feel stuck. Listen closely. Heaven hasn't missed you. In fact, your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. There are angels placing your documents before decision makers. There are divine ideas stirring in hearts who don't yet know why they feel connected to you. Don't confuse silence for inactivity. God is working faster than you realize. My beloved child. This is not the end of the story. This is not a highlight, it's a launch. What I've begun, I will complete. I am not only giving you access, I'm giving you authority. I'm not only restoring your finances, I'm rewriting your legacy. You will no longer live in cycles. You will live in continual outpouring. This is not temporary. This is not a one-time miracle. This is your new rhythm. Heaven's rhythm. Because when the sky speaks your name, nothing stays the same. There was a quiet boldness in Anna now. Not loud. Not boastful. But settled. Anchored. She didn't have to announce that her life had changed. The atmosphere around her did it for her. People noticed it in her presence. They felt it in her peace. They were drawn to it, even without understanding why. Because when heaven marks you, you carry something different. The Spirit whispered, you no longer walk in survival. You carry the evidence of fulfilled prophecy. At first, Anna had marveled at every breakthrough. But now, she wasn't surprised by miracles. She expected them. Not with arrogance, but with alignment. Because she finally understood, this is not an exception, this is my new rhythm. This is not a lucky moment, this is the result of divine timing. She began to wake each morning saying, what will you release today, Lord? And he answered. Not always with money. Sometimes with strategy. Sometimes with connections. Sometimes with favor. But always with purpose. As increase grew, so did visibility. More people called. More doors opened. More favor poured in. And with it came a holy reminder, never forget who gave it. Never forget the floor you once wept on. Never forget the whisper that started this. So, she didn't rise with pride, she knelt in reverence. She didn't clutch the blessings, she stewarded them with open hands. Because true favor is not found in possession. It's found in obedience to the one who gave it. Anna had always dreamed of helping others. But now, she had the means, and more importantly, the anointing. She didn't just hand out provision. She delivered breakthrough. A family behind on rent. She paid it quietly. A student lacking tuition. She covered it before they even asked. A woman with a dream but no funding. Anna invested. Each time, God whispered, you are no longer praying for open doors. You are the open door. The same places that once shut her out were now seeking her voice. Churches. Organizations. Leaders who had once overlooked her. But Anna didn't need the spotlight. She walked into those rooms with one assignment, to give glory to the one who opened the doors. She spoke not from bitterness, but from beauty. Not from wounds, but from wisdom. Because God doesn't just bring you back to places that rejected you. He brings you back to redeem the ground. One night, Anna heard him clearly, you've received well. Now, it's time to release others. Teach them what I taught you. Remind them of what I've done. She began gathering others, those who felt forgotten, bound, lost in cycles. She taught not from theory, but from testimony. She prayed not from pity, but from power. And miracles multiplied. The same oil that fell on her life now flowed through her hands. You may still be sowing in silence. Still praying when no one claps. Still giving when it costs you. And you wonder, has heaven noticed? The answer is, yes. You are not lost in the crowd. You are not passed over. Your name is still on the release scroll. And what's about to unfold will vindicate every seed, every tear, and every step you took by faith. My beloved. I didn't just rescue you. I've positioned you. I've sealed you. I've established you in such a way that no thief, no scheme, no lie can unseat what I've released. You are now a light. A vessel. A carrier of my kingdom. You are not just walking in blessing. Anna woke before the sun again. You are walking in assignment. But this time, it wasn't the voice of lack that stirred her. Every step you take will echo with the sound of heaven's authority. It was assignment. The air felt charged. The silence felt sacred. She knew, this wasn't just the end of a long wait. It was the beginning of a holy reign. The Spirit whispered, "You've received. Now walk in it." This wasn't just answered prayer. This was mantled responsibility. The blessing wasn't just hers. It was a blueprint for others. Anna stood in the same hallway where she once cried, staring at closed doors, wondering if God had heard. Now, she stood there again, but as a keyholder. She understood something she hadn't before: the delay wasn't punishment. It was preparation. The silence wasn't rejection. It was strategy. The "not yet" wasn't a no, it was a "watch what I'm about to do." The waiting taught her how to war. It trained her to trust. It purified her yes. Anna no longer lived by effort alone. Now, she lived by divine flow. She didn't chase opportunity, it came. She didn't strive for influence, it happened naturally. She didn't beg for provision, she simply managed the abundance heaven now trusted her with. Because when heaven speaks your name, you don't push doors. They respond to your presence. She walked into a building she once applied to work in, twice denied. Now, they invited her to speak. As she stepped onto that stage, she remembered every tear she cried outside its glass walls. She remembered whispering, "Lord, I just want to be seen." Now, she stood commissioned, not by man, but by heaven. And the Lord whispered, "This is not revenge. This is redemption. This is not status. This is stewardship." She started training others. Not in formulas, but in faithfulness. She taught how to trust when nothing moves. How to give when your hands feel empty. How to praise when the promise looks delayed. How to hear God in the whisper, not just the whirlwind. And people wept. Because they didn't just hear her story. They saw themselves in it. They saw the possibility of a life governed by heaven, not hustling. She was no longer the woman who once needed rescue. She was now the woman God used to restore others. Listen closely. Even if you've wandered. Even if you've doubted. Even if you've whispered, "Maybe it's too late for me." The heavens say, you were never forgotten. You were being positioned. Every trial refined you. Every night taught you. Every delay was preparing your table in the presence of every lie. This was never about luck. It was about timing. And now, the timing is here. My beloved. You've survived your wilderness. Now you are stepping into inheritance. You've seen the bottom. Now you will build on solid ground. You've carried pain. Now you will carry promise. Your name has not been erased. It has been engraved. In the vaults of heaven. On the scrolls of angels. In the breath of prophetic release. This is your time. This is your hour. And you will never walk empty again. I have spoken. And my word never returns void. You are marked. You are sealed. You are sent. Now, go. Live like you've been released.